Hi guys, welcome to Windsome Cottage Garden. My name is Hannah and I'm so glad that you decided to join me today. We're in my messy garage right now because I'd planned to do this project today. I really need to do it today and it's raining outside right now. So we've come inside. Excuse the clutter, I haven't organized it yet, but I'm sure this is a familiar sight to many gardeners who aren't quite as organized as they could be, like me. Today what I want to do is a couple more jugs with the winter sowing method. Now winter's clearly over, but I have a couple varieties of seeds, specifically sweet pea seeds, that I want to start using this method, and I needed to wait until the danger of super cold nights had passed. While I am sure we will still get frosts and potentially even snows, I do think the bitter cold danger has passed at this point. I'm hoping we don't get any of those things, but realistically, it's only the beginning of April. Those are going to happen. So today I'm going to actually be sowing 4 different sweet pea varieties using the winter sowing method. I've never grown sweet peas this way before, but as I understand it, they make for a lot hardier plant and an easier transition outside. Most of these sweet peas are going to be going to the cottage, and these are being done as my mom's request. So I thought what we do is plant them up together on video, and then have an update on the vegetable garden that I think will probably be included in this video. So we'll talk about that at the end of the video. One key thing about sweet peas is you're supposed to soak the seeds or peas overnight. So these have been soaking honestly probably like 25 hours, a tiny bit longer than 24, which is why I have to do these today. So I've got the 4 varieties. They're also a little bit older. I think these seeds are probably 3 years old. Some are a little less, but that means I'm going to be planting a lot of seeds and expect a higher than normal rate to not germinate because of the age of the seed. Seeds don't go bad per se. If you ever see a seed package that says, you know, packaged for, and the date is a year or 2 ago, that's okay. They'll probably still be fine. It just means instead of a 98% germination rate or 80 or whatever's on the seed packet, which they usually say what the germination rate is, it's going to be less. There's been studies where seeds that are like 100 years old will still germinate. Now there's usually conditions that make that possible, but all that to say, try it. If it's old, try it. If it's a little late, try it. Plants are pretty forgiving, and even if it doesn't quite work out for this year, if you've already sunk the money into these things, you're not losing anything except time. And that really is also you're gaining a lesson and something that you can modify what you do next year, which is, I think, a bonus. So what I'm going to do right now is get everything in. I'm going to get these all planted. I don't want to use seed starting mix, which is really the only soil I have other than indoor potting plant soil. So I'm going to use indoor potting plant soil. Not the best, but I haven't started buying my regular soil yet. And because I moved, I don't have the normal bag or 2 at the end of the season that I typically do that I use for this purpose in the spring. All the soil I had before at my old house was used when I was taking splits. So I'm going to get this wet, get them in. I'm going to put probably 5 to 7 seeds, or if I have them, some of the varieties I only had like 3 or 4, so I'll only do 3 or 4. And then I'll get them all zipped up, and we'll hopefully get them outside today. Might be tomorrow. We'll just have to wait and see. Okay, it's actually been about a week and a half since I filmed that video. I did bring them out that night and put them with the rest of my milk jugs. And they haven't sprouted yet, which sweet peas can take a little while, so I'm not surprised. but I thought I would finally check in with you guys and show you how the winter sowing jugs are doing. So these are all of the new sweet peas. So I'm not even going to bother showing you them because there's nothing in them. If we start going into like things like the Orangium, if I kind of show you there. Oh, you see? There we go. We got little babies. There's only one in here, but that was slightly older. This is lupins. I've got lupins and everything. You can see this right here is not a lupin, but there are lupins. I'm going to be cutting these open in a couple days and giving them some airflow. But we've got lots of snapdragons. Got lots. I think these are hollyhocks. Yeah, here's alyssum. That's what that was in here. Some more alyssum in here. Lots of germination. This one I don't think there was any in. Let's see. Bascom. Yeah, I didn't see any in there. Those were old. Now here's some more hollyhocks looking good. Lupins are doing the best by far. Excited to see them. Snapdragons, no, there's none in here, but this was a packet that was like, I had no idea how old it was, and it had gotten wet, so I'm not surprised. This one is more alyssum. This one, oh, poppies, yes. This is exciting, because I've had such a hard time starting poppies in trays. This might have worked well because I have a couple different kinds of poppies. Let's pop over here. This is a pepper box mix. You can see it also has done really well, and I have another one somewhere. We'll find it in a second. Jeremy also got stuff going. This one's foxglove and obscura sunset, which is really pretty. Dusty Miller, I don't think there was anything in here. But that was more impulse. This hollyhock is really, really jamming. This one was the majorette mix. So that's exciting. Columbine. Now, oh, maybe there's one. Okay, I see one itty bitty seedling. I have been watching these so closely, and none of my columbine has sprouted at all. So I went back and looked, and they take forever to germinate. That's really exciting. Because, let's see, here's another columbine, which at first I got super excited, but that's not actually columbine. That's, again, a weed. I think those are mostly weeds. Oh, another hollyhock. This is a black one that's doing amazing. More baby lupins coming on strong. This one was, oh, poppies from my old house. That's exciting. I had some really pretty ones that I took the seeds from. More lupins. Here's another. Let's see. This is another one that I hadn't seen. Oh, is that? These ones are hard to see. I don't think there's anything in there. Yeah, there's nothing in there. I'm not going to give up hope, though. And this one was larkspur, which has just a couple itty bitty things. So this weekend I'm actually going to cut them open and leave them open for the most part, unless it's going to get really cold, and then I'll kind of pop them back down. If there's ones that haven't germinated yet, I'll probably leave those intact because it gives me more of a sign to be like, hey, look at this, and watch them even more closely than I'm already watching them. But overall, I'm really, really pleased with how well this is. I am disappointed in the columbine, so I really hope, really hope that they're still going to germinate. Because I think it said that they take 3 to 4 weeks to germinate, I think. And I figure since it's not ideal conditions, it would probably take longer. But then I do worry that they may have gotten too hot, which is why I'm going to be slicing the containers soon. Has anyone started columbine using this method? Because I'd love to hear your tips and tricks. Okay, changing tactics. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is a change to the layout that I shared with you in a video earlier this year when we did a bare bones garden tour that I'll link here, where I kind of outlined some of the plans I had for the area. It is now mid-April. Actually, I'm filming this on April 15th. I think you're going to see it like the 17th. Today is my best friend from elementary school's birthday. Happy birthday, Michelle. But I've spent a lot of time staring at the position of the sun and what sunlight looks like in this backyard, because I have at the back of the yard 6 giant hemlocks that are probably about 40-ish feet tall, and the sun goes like this. It's actually late in the evening, so that is west. And I kept telling myself, because this house in like late September moved around then, a little bit later, and the sun had already sunk in the sky, but I thought I remembered this area behind me getting a lot of sun, and that's where I was going to put my vegetable garden. The more I have stared at these trees and the pattern of the sun, the less sun I think it gets. And so that's actually led to 2 changes that are coming to the plans I'd made, including one I'm kind of bummed about. I'm not really going to put my vegetable garden here anymore, which was getting to be a little tricky anyway because there is a septic field. So I only had about 12 feet before I was going to have to stop it. So it can't really go here. I think where I'm going to put it is over here, and I'll go over there and explain it in a little bit in a moment. But one of the things that is sad about this is I think I'm going to take some of these hemlocks down. I don't like removing trees, especially big, beautiful, established trees. Hemlocks in particular are pretty slow growing too, so like they've been in this space probably, I mean, the house was built in 1995-ish, so my guess is they planted them then. But it's just, there's not much sun. And for the type of yard that I want to like plant and have, I need more sunlight, not just in the vegetable garden, but in the yard in general. So I will be keeping these 2 because they provide a lot of privacy to like the side of the house that all the bedrooms is on. And I'm going to try and keep one in the corner and this one, though this one I suspect is going to go. My dad's going to attempt to take these down. He has a plan. I don't really do that kind of stuff, so I just trust him. And we're going to start with these 2 and then assess. I suspect this one is going to come down. And then what I'll do is actually come in with additional trees whose mature height is smaller. So I'm thinking things like, and the good news is because there's going to be more sun, that opens up more possibilities. So it'll probably be things like crabapple, hawthorn, dogwood. I'll probably get a redbud or 2 that in general, their mature size is 15 to 25 feet versus 40 feet. Because the sun can get in, it's just having a hard time. Like where it finally clears the trees is right up against the house. So we're going to do that, which is going to open up a ton of sun on this other end for the vegetable garden. And is actually going to allow a much bigger vegetable garden. I think what I'm going to do is basically turn this entire stretch up to about there into a nice big vegetable garden, which then gives a room for 5 different beds. There's a bit of a slant that's hard to show that I'm going to have to combat a little bit. So I haven't like fully figured it out. I decided to come inside because my neighbors were out and they were doing some stuff in their yard, which made it kind of hard to film. I think I'm going to be able to fit 5 beds in there. I'm still going to attempt to do stuff in the ground this year, A, to save money on the cost of beds, and B, to see if I like the plan before I like commit to it. The only hesitation I have with that is because of the natural curvature of the ground, the water is just going to roll off of it. So what I might do is like, I have an idea for what I could do to kind of help combat that and help with aiding and leveling it out. So I might do a little more work than I intended. But I'm excited about this shift. Even though, as I said, I really don't like taking out trees. I think it's, especially when they're big and beautiful like this, I'm going to be replacing them all with other trees and a lot more plants in general. But it took me a while to come to this conclusion because it was something I was resisting and trying to figure out. And the reality is there was really one solution, which is hard. But I still need to talk to some neighbors about what I was going to do because not only is it privacy in my yard, but it's also privacy for them. And actually, this is going to be actually the tree. This is the one that I want to try and keep because it provides privacy right here from like their back deck and my back deck. I'm also going to be taking out these guys, which I already told you guys about. But I have a plan if I have to take it out, which I suspect I will. Those trees are actually going to be coming down in the next few weeks. I'll document what I can. It might just be more like progress checking in because, as I said, my dad is spearheading that. Normally I'd bring in a service, especially because they are quite tall. But this is one of the ways that I'm making it affordable to do this year, versus just having to wait. Because I do, since I've made this decision, A, I like to jump on things, but B, I really want to get those trees in the ground that I'm going to replace these hemlocks with so they can start growing. Time is of the essence. Like, they'll be as tall as I can get and can afford to put in, but they're still going to be pretty small. And so in order to get that privacy back, I need to get the clock ticking so that they can start settling into their new space, putting on growth. And in 5 years' time, they'll be of a size that you're like, okay, I'm so glad that I got that extra growing season. That is the update regarding the vegetable garden. You're going to be seeing progress on that quite soon. Probably you'll be seeing it in the next 2 to 3 weeks, maybe a month, as I kind of get stuff filmed and able to work on things. I'm going to be like doing stuff that I don't always necessarily do, but I will be like measuring out and flagging different beds and looking and living with it with a little while. So I'll probably bring you along as I do some of that initial work and keep chugging along. I'm really excited about all the different plans. I know it's changing a little bit. I'm glad I waited and spent all the time staring at the path of the sun that I did, because I really don't think, even though the sun will still continue to get higher in the sky, it's not going to get high enough. So once you fully determined that, everything else kind of fell into place. And I'm excited to see how it goes. I'm interested to see how taking these trees down will go. If I'm honest, I'm a little anxious about it. But it's going to open up this whole yard and things are going to start taking off from there. Really appreciate you joining me today and checking in on these seeds we started together earlier this year. I can give you a quick update. Here's another quick update. Don't know when you saw the seed starting video. I think you've already seen it. But all the seeds we've started, these are older. I'm actually going to be putting these into pots soon. They've come up. Some were slower than others, like these guys. Itty bitty. But my marigolds are still germinating a little bit here and there. But all the dahlias and geraniums are up. And yeah, they're doing well. These are all the collace babies. These were the last to come up. I was a little worried about them. They're jamming too. Anyway, I really appreciate you joining me today. We're actually going to be back in the cottage for our next video, working on some spring stuff, working on some project stuff. Just a lot of things all the way around. Spring is a busy time of year. Can't wait to see you then. Bye-bye.